This is Charlie recording the intro. Yep, that's all I got. Welcome to the Line Break podcast. Let's get on with it. Right, should we get started then? Because I've hit record. I don't know, I wanted Harble and Fred to individually quickly talk about Ireland versus France.
You sure that's
did
good?
that happen?
Wouldn't that just be...
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I wanted a war of words right there.
It'll just be both of them alternating between crying.
Well, kind of, because half of his players have someone their Welshness, their inner Welshness, and at the weekend got injured.
Yeah, just getting injured and still winning.
And exactly, and still won the game. And we just, we just played our usual selves.
But if I know anything about France, is that they prefer to play New Zealand in a quarter-final.
Yeah, if there's anyone that I think can beat New Zealand in a quarter-final, it's going to be France. And like, they didn't look bad.
And I mean, you can't really rate Ireland at any quarter-final whatsoever.
Ouch. Well, I mean, Argentina's knocked us out twice before, so I'd say they're going to be happy again.
Have they done it twice before?
Yeah.
Oh, you've reached them twice before.
And 07.
I didn't even know that.
Jesus Christ. Harble, you must be over
What do you mean 07? No, 07, they knocked you out before the quarter-finals.
It was, I think, in 91, I want to say.
In 091?
99?
No, in 91. I was going to say 3, and I thought that's not right.
In 1991.
Yeah, that's the way.
No, 91 it was Australia, and we lost them by 1 point.
That's rough.
But they knocked us out of the group stages in 2007. They beat us in 1999.
You got Vincent Clare that day.
Jeez.
Do you not remember that?
Yeah, unfortunately I do. But I'd rather not. I've expunged it from my brain and memories right now. So.
You've tried.
I'm too busy reminiscing about just the weekend gone past.
And what a glorious weekend it was for Ireland.
Exactly.
There was a huge following actually from England on Facebook for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you get that, Fred?
No, but to be fair, I mean, I've said that we would be second of the group for months, and all of the Irish fans were like, no, don't say that. France is such a good team. Blah blah blah. We're only second in the world.
Because the Irish hate being favourites, like.
Yeah, I know. They hate it so much. They hate to compliment as well. They just upvote them, but they hate them.
they secretly upvote them, but they don't actually want them. They're like,
we
love being good.
No, don't compliment us, and then just upvote.
Yeah,
exactly.
You are the silent upvoters, and then you've got your mainstream posters. No, you've got your mainstream posters.
My mic is fine. I've got the same mic as you.
Who's complaining? I can't hear whoever's just talked about.
Ed is complaining.
Oh, is he? Why can I not hear him?
He doesn't want to say it out loud.
Oh, okay.
Well, I didn't want to break the whatever.
Oh.
No, but yeah, you actually, that was actually a good thing to do.
Maybe it's sorry, I just didn't realise. No, let's continue.
Right, so
let's quickly talk. Harble, can you quickly talk about the loss of Sexton, because that is a pretty big blow, but obviously it isn't confirmed yet. Do you think it's going to affect you in the Argentinian game, or will Madigan come through again?
I mean, it's always going to affect us, in fairness. The question is by how much. I mean, was it Leroux? Post-match said that they prepared very well for Sexton's kicking game, and in fairness, they did. And Italy was somewhat prepared as well. It was ineffective against both teams. France, obviously, only 26 minutes, I think, was the time that he was taken off.
Yeah.
And then on came Madigan. The first 14 minutes weren't too great, but he kind of settled in, made one ridiculously bad kick that ended with Paul O'Connell getting injured, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But then the second half, he opened he opened up the game. He played his style, which wasn't the way Sexton had prepared, the way that Schmidt had prepared.
Well, he ran around.
Even Leroux said, Sexton came off and suddenly the game changed and we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, he definitely improved the intensity of that match. He opened it up. We played better. I was quite worried in the first 26 minutes because our kicking game was ineffective. again against Italy as well, and I mean that game really worried me. If we couldn't beat an Italy that was destroyed by France and was unimpressive against Canada, then I was quite worried about what's going to happen in the future. So against Argentina, that's very difficult to say. Argentina reminds you of an older France team, which they're strong up front. They've got a nice back line, decent offloading team as well.
I think they've got a very strong offloading game at the moment. There's a lot of talk on the sub at the moment of them emulating the New Zealand offload game. They made the most yards. I think it was the Namibia game against Namibia. They made a huge amount, like 900 and something meters gained in the game. And
that's right.
And you look at that and you go, well, that's not the Argentina of old, because they would have kicked the ball up in the air and chased it and caught it or missed it. It's a completely different style to how they normally play ancient history.
What a factor in their opposition on the day, I think.
Well, no, obviously, but they still would come out with a kicking game plan, I think, if they were going to play like that.
Yeah,
and I also think
a product of Southern Hemisphere rugby, like the fact they're playing in the
certainly being forced into the Rugby Championship style, but I still think they played quite conservatively against. Well, even when they beat South Africa and when they did certain things, they had a little bit of conservatism about them, for sure. But no, also, so we talk about Ireland beating the French. But Ireland weren't dominant in the forwards particularly. I thought the French
were very good.
I thought the French forwards, especially the at scrum time, were quite a dominant force. I mean, I don't know the stats on won and lost.
How is that a surprise? I mean, our scrum is supposed to be better than Ireland's.
Well, the old adage goes that the forwards win the game and the backs decide by how much. Well, the French forwards should have won the game.
Yeah, but Australia said that was bullshit years ago.
No, that's true, but I still think that the French put on a dominant platform, certainly, in certain aspects, especially at the scrum, but they didn't seem to do much with the ball. And I don't know who to blame that for, to be honest.
But our replacement front row improved our scrum, which is a bit strange. You didn't really expect that, especially, take off Cian Healy, you didn't know
Healy's a better carrier.
Yeah, he is.
He's a carrying. He's a carrying prop.
Better than Cian Healy.
Yeah, I think Healy's a carrying prop, and maybe you needed a specialist scrummager to sort out the French. I don't know.
Yeah, and don't forget as well, the forwards. Going back to that old adage, of course, we know that it's not always true, but as well, you can't forget it's not just the scrum that forwards rely on.
You have to win
Ireland was much better at the breakdown. Ireland was much better in the lineouts as well. Both were used quite effectively.
Yep.
I mean, that much French better at the breakdown, but at the lineout definitely.
I thought the lineout.
Well, 17 turnovers is huge.
But I thought Dusautoir in particular played out of his skin in some of those tackles and the hits he was making.
And at the breakdown, and so it was weird because one of Ireland's tactic was to run at pick and rolls,
which is a strange tactic.
No, it's actually a very smart one because he usually doesn't really tackle. He's a ball carrier that doesn't really tackle, so he put quite, he had to tackle in this game, which is very unusual for him. So it probably tied him up.
Actually, I did notice that because I was watching the ESPN live points on the Fantasy League, and he got to 10 tackles really early in the first half. And I saw Heaslip only got to the 10 tackle point thing in the midway through the second half. So I mean, even from just a straight stats point of view, they must have been targeting Pickamore.
Yeah, I think they did. It's kind of the same way that some teams, for example, when they play against Bath or South Africa, they carry the ball at Francois Lowe, so that he can't try and steal the ball because he's busy tackling.
Yeah, same with Pocock.
Or run at Pocock. A lot of Super Rugby teams were running at Pocock during.
To be fair, that's a really good idea to run at Pocock, because I think that would have saved England a lot of hassle at the breakdown if we'd made Pocock make the tackle rather than run into Hooper and then let Pocock make the turnover. But that's the way
I think you're in a rock and a hard place between Pocock and Hooper.
Yeah, obviously you are, but I think, yeah, I don't want to really talk about that game. We can move on from that one.
Really? I wonder why.
But the Uruguay game was great, and Noel and Slade played very well.
It was.
Yeah, and they really mattered in this World Cup. That's what.
No,
It really made the difference.
That's what really frustrated me, to be honest. The fact they weren't even given a shot, but
I don't think the Uruguay game was at all indicative of England's best rugby, and I think while some of the backs excel themselves, and even the likes of Alex Good actually had a decent game, I thought some of our forwards were just, most of our forwards in fact, were just crap, and I think...
Yeah, I do think there was a little bit of a problem.
Rob Shaw,
it has
Haskell,
been quite
I
a
think,
surprise to see our forwards come apart.
Haskell, in fact, our forwards have been falling apart since the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but they've been running pure fitness. I mean, I think they're all knackered.
But Haskell had his best games against Wales in the Six Nations, and I know there was that trip in the yellow card, but he's gone off the boil. Was that France? I can't remember. He's gone off the boil a lot. Rob Shaw, I think, is just absolutely spent because there's just something missing from his game. Our locks were fantastic. I can't fault our locks in that game. But the front row, the back row, there was no urgency to the breakdown. The tackling seemed lackluster, and I'm sure we missed a few. And I think it's such an incredible shame that it took 4 matches before we finally tried out. For one, Slade, who was amazing in the warm-up, and we started Jack Noel, who I have over Johnny May nearly every day of the week. Not that I don't rate May, I just think Noel is more of an all-rounder, and I just think had our forwards...
I quite like the idea of May coming on later against a more tired defence and just like gunning people. Like
when you're already talking about the 2019 World Cup.
Yeah, we might as well.
Yeah,
but I just wouldn't. I think Wade's going to play
Six
instead.
Nations, whatever.
I think there'll be a complete overhaul. We'll see what happens, but I think there's.
You're right. Six Nations 2016 is coming up, and that's the hot topic right now.
That is the hot topic. We should definitely.
That's what everyone's talking about.
That's why we make the podcasts.
But I think we can't ignore the fact that England went out. But yeah, I don't know how much more there is to say about it. We were pretty. It's been a pretty sad state of affairs, and it'll be interesting to see what comes next.
I just wanted to talk about Slade and Noel. Really, I wasn't bothered about anything else.
I just wanted to bring up.
I just wanted to bring up the extra boys, and Parling played okay as well.
This is the thing. I can't do that. For the Quins, apart from Mike Brown, Quins have had a pretty Danny Kerr did all right.
Easter had
Nick
a
Easter has had a bit of a he can't.
Did he? I don't know. He scored 3 tries off the back of rolling maul.
Against Uruguay.
Against Uruguay, one of the strongest teams in the Southern Hemisphere.
I guess that is sort of one of the things, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, look, if only we could play like that." The whole World Cup. It's like it was against Uruguay, and of course we can play like that.
Well, I don't think that. They did put them to bed, Wales and Australia, but I think we put them to bed just as well, to be honest. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. It's completely over.
Because Wales are trying not to get injured.
We do need to focus. Yeah, Wales were trying not to get injured. We need to focus on the Welsh team actually, because I think, even through injury, they've got crazy.
Because they're through to the next round.
Well,
that's one thing you seem to be forgetting. Let's talk about Wales because we're actually going to see them in this World Cup again.
That's probably the last
Fred.
for me.
It's just appalling.
Sorry, that was absolute chaos. I can barely hear Ed. I don't know what he was just saying.
I was going to say that it's the amount of times I said Fiji were going to beat Wales, because the short turnaround that slapped Japan in the face and that seemed to do so many poor things for so many other teams. The fact that
Fiji played really well. I thought Fiji played really well in that game, but I mean, obviously Wales came out on top quite rightly. But I think they played well.
I reckon Wales have it in them to beat South Africa. After South Africa's Japan game, after Wales's whole ball run, I think Wales have it in them somehow to work out a win there.
I just can't see Wales surviving the onslaught. There's going to be a big physical onslaught.
As long as they don't
get back to physical onslaught.
Well, that's the thing, right? So Wales haven't been entirely able to play Crash Gatland ball because they haven't had the people used to playing it.
Well, they've been forced to play through their scrum half, which has made them play really well.
Yeah,
well, I will point out that 10-minute period against Australia where they did nothing but play Gatland ball against 13 men, and rather than getting a try,
and didn't score any tries. Over. Yeah,
that's all Gatland. That's appalling.
Yeah. It would be. Is this CC sending bloody messages instead of talking?
No, that was me. Don't worry.
Still doesn't want to talk.
I'm very confused by this monkey situation that's going on in the background.
You can't see the monkey, no?
I can see your.
No.
No
one can see a monkey. It just says monkey.
I've got a dancing monkey emoticon. You can't see it now.
There are 3 dancing monkeys, and then further up there's.
Oh no! Look, I
monkeys.
can see them now. I posted one. Great.
You see the dancing monkey. Anyway, just I think Wales can beat South Africa. Just remember, don't tackle with your shoulder.
Tackle with your forehead.
Forehead instead. Yeah, Dan Fish.
That's the. Well, no, that's the classic Sexton way, isn't it? Just get concussed.
That's what. Yeah, exactly. That's what Johnny Sexton taught.
No, only against Bastero.
I think that's why his face is so flat, because that's the way he tackles.
Only against Bastero. Does Sexton actually own shoulders when he's not wearing pads?
I don't think
I'm pretty sure he just slopes straight down into his chest, doesn't it? He's
arms.
He's like a duck. He's perfectly adapted to rugby. So if someone tries to tackle his shoulders, they just slip straight off. That's the.
So what you're trying to tell us is ducks are the best suited animal for playing rugby, or did I misunderstand that?
Certainly in a northern hemisphere watery environment, they are.
I think that's exactly what Charlie was trying to say.
So what's the best southern hemisphere animal for rugby then?
The best southern hemisphere animal.
Giraffe.
Probably a kiwi, isn't it?
Yeah, giraffe.
Clearly ducks.
No, who's stopping a giraffe? Let's be honest. A giraffe.
Lou Diago is a giraffe.
Babyface.
Yes,
he's a giraffe with a baby face.
He really is.
Yes, he is. And he's better than all of us.
Is he though? At what?
He is amazing.
At rugby, yes.
At rugby, yeah, not at podcasting, no.
I tell you what, I know it gets brought up occasionally. In 6 years' time, in South Africa, the Lions against South Africa, if the second row is still Lou Diego and Evan Etzebeth, that'd be one hell of a matchup for whoever we're playing.
Yeah, to be fair, that is. But
by the way, you know, it's the Greys, Henderson, Laws, or Lawrencebury, or whoever. If that'd be quite a line-out would be fun.
Yeah. Wait, what? Does anyone know the matchups? Because I had the matchups up on my screen just a second ago, and they've just slipped off.
You can't remember the 4 quarterfinals.
Well, I know that
Australia against Scotland.
Right, so let's start with the teams that beat you: Australia and Wales.
Yeah, but I know who are Oz, and so okay, Wales, South Africa.
Australia is playing Scotland, and Wales is playing South Africa.
Oz and Scotland. Oh, shut up, Tom May. You do my head in.
Who's Tom May?
He's on the ESPN fantasy rugby thing, and every time you click on it, his little crappy summary of the day comes up, and he's just terrible.
Are you calling them out on the podcast?
I'm calling him out, Tom May. It's terrible. He always gets it wrong. I can't remember what he said to do last time. He probably said take out. I think he said take out Fofana or take out someone, and then they scored a hat-trick, and I was just like, you're an idiot.
Take out Fofana is something bad advice.
That was just terrible advice.
Wasn't he like one of the best value players so far?
Laidlaw was the best, I think. Laidlaw's had the most points for ESPN Rugby. He's rank 1.
He's had the most points in the pool stages.
Yeah.
I'm really angry that...
Actually, I've got to give a shout out to someone on Reddit. I can't remember who. Talking about the Australia-Scotland game, who said it doesn't matter if you may have Hooper and Pocock, but we've been practicing our our breakdown being slow by playing Laidlaw for years. I thought it was just amazing.
Yeah, it's weird because I think Russell is actually wholly used to playing with a really slow backline.
Yeah, he's just used to waiting for 5 minutes to get the ball at every breakdown, so it'll make no difference playing against Australia or playing. He could play against 7 back rowers, and that would make no difference.
Well, there's actually a certain style of 10 who there's the one that plays off the 9 pace. They're the ones that play well with Danny Kerr and Tom Youngs. And then not Tom Youngs, Ben Youngs. And then there's the one that plays well off Wigglesworth, who can generate their own pace. And it's actually surprising to me that Farrell is used to playing off Wigglesworth, because he doesn't generate his own pace, whereas Madigan and Barrett and certainly other people, when they're playing 10, they generate their own pace. So I think it's quite interesting how you can have a 9 dictate the pace of a game and a 10 dictate the pace of a game.
I have no
I feel
idea
like
what you're
Farrell-
talking about.
Well, Aaron Smith dictates the pace of the game for New Zealand. Dan Carter doesn't. He distributes very well, and he picks his passes, and he makes the right calls. But Aaron Smith dictates the pace, whereas Russell dictates the pace for Scotland. Well, rather than
And how does he
Laidlaw.
do that?
By putting
Like,
pace onto the ball when he runs.
Laidlaw's
He doesn't. If Laidlaw gives him slow ball, he'll still try and inject pace onto it, which is interesting.
Right,
Because
okay,
most
yeah,
people would
okay,
let
so what you mean.
nines. Most people would let the 9 pick the pace of up, but getting it quick off the breakdown. But Russell was unable to do that because Laidlaw's quite slow.
That's quite interesting. I never thought of it like that. That's quite cool.
Well, it's just something that I don't know. It's just something I'd noticed at 10. Like if you are a 10, you need to generate your own pace sometimes, because sometimes you do have a slow 9, and it's always going to happen. So certain 10s are more used to doing it.
Farrell Wigglesworth thing is quite interesting. I wonder if it works because Farrell takes the ball moves faster than people thing much too literally, and kicks it every time, and just to his wingers. Maybe that's...
Yeah, well, his wingers.
I mean, when you've got Strettle and Ashton on the wing, I guess you can do that sort of shit. But
Well, it's always a low kick. He never goes for the high contestable kicks. He always tries to.
it's always peg it to the
because
forward.
Saracens are shit in the air.
I mean,
I think.
Saracens.
Yeah, Ashton and Streschel, they're not particularly good going for high ball, are they?
But they're.
no,
but they're
they can.
Nor is
they can
Alex
chase
good.
bloody-
Alex, well, yeah, that's very
They
true.
can chase a ball.
But anyway, I thought that was interesting because again, Sexton isn't someone who dictates the pace of a game. He does put his own pace on it when he gets the ball, but it definitely comes from the 9 for Ireland who dictates the pace.
It is, yeah.
Um,
More so Conor Murray.
yeah,
But
Conor Murray
Madigan
dictates
seems
it.
to have a bit more influence in that area.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
exactly. So if it is slow ball, Madigan can still inject a bit of pace onto it. Whereas I think sometimes if Sexton doesn't have the pace on the ball that he likes, he'll give it a kick, and I think that's quite rudimentary to most tier 1 teams, so they can defend against it.
You said that Sexton's. You said that France played to nullify Sexton's kicking, or they would have
That's
trained
right,
to counter. Yeah, which when he went, I mean, not immediately after he went off, but once Madigan kind of got into his own, France didn't really have any way to handle
answer.
something that they weren't properly expecting that early in the game. So I suspect as
It was
good as it was to see Sexton go off, I mean, Madigan kind of did them a favour. Ireland, that is.
no, you're right. I was chatting with my brother, and it was back and forth text messages. If we're going to keep kicking like this, we're going to lose. And 26 minutes in, off goes Sexton, and I'd say, look, you could see bursts or bits of inspiration from Madigan in those first 14 minutes or last 14 minutes of the second half. Sorry to put it better. And 1 or 2 fuck ups, most notably that kick out in the full. Leading to Paul O'Connell getting injured. Just thought I'd say that again. I'm not blaming him, but
Heartbreaking.
but it was really in the second half where you saw him dictate the pace of the game for both teams.
Yeah.
And
But
so
he
you talk
certainly did
about
it very
the
well.
kicking game, Ireland's kicking game. That's that it's your biggest part of your game. So I think for once I'll say something that's really weird, but it seems like PSA made the right decision. How weird is that to say?
What?
by putting Dula on the wing out of position, because he said that he put him instead of Grosso or Guitoun to work on the high ball, and he did that well. So I guess
There was something interesting. I thought Doolan had a good game, and there was a certain point where everyone knows when Earls dropped the ball. I actually think he was going to get caught. I don't think he was going to make that run.
Oh, it looked.
I guess we'll never know.
I think obviously we'll
Yeah,
never
of
know,
course we'll know.
but I think just the act of bringing the ball in, and he wasn't at full flight when he took it. I think he was going to get caught. I mean, we will literally never know, but I think Doolan was on him.
That's
really
not on
do.
his wing. Dylan was on the other wing.
No, he was the chasing man. He'd come all the way across, I think.
Possibly, but he was on the other wing.
I think he'd come all the way across. And I think he was covering. So I actually think he was good scramble defence, at least at that one point. And I think you're right when you say that he made the right decision putting him on the wing, even if that isn't his preferred spot.
No, it really isn't. I mean, we saw against Watson in the preparation game that he got caught on the wing because he just didn't really know how to defend from this position.
No, yeah.
Whereas a proper winger would have probably gotten Watson in that small space. Not to take anything out of the try, that was amazing, but I think it was pretty clear that he was out of position at that time. And we went for that decision of putting him again on the wing because Ireland's game is the high ball a lot.
Yeah, well,
Both by Sexton and Murray, and it seemed like it worked.
It did work.
I mean,
for
to
the
a very
first
small
20
extent,
minutes.
because you did score 24 points, which is not a lot of fun for us.
And I think it's quite surprising how the French didn't actually manage to get a try or manage to really, I don't know, just manage to threaten the Irish backline a little bit
It was
more.
strange because earlier in the year in Dublin, they scored a try. We didn't manage to. Of course, we still managed to win. But yeah, no, I thought that was a bit strange. I mean, when it was even 14-9, I was pretty worried. I was stressed for most of the match. I mean, thank God we didn't do any live commentary because I'm pretty sure all you would have been hearing would have been...
I wasn't worried for France at all during the game. I thought we might win it. You know, watching the game, and when Murray scored the second try, that was the winner. Before that, the game was still completely in contention.
No, I think
I don't think so,
the
because
French
France
forwards were quite on it though. But anyway, go on, Harbaugh. Sorry, I interrupted.
Sorry. I was just about to say. I mean, I was quite nervous because the French physicality and dominance in the forwards, or at least performing well in the scrum as well. But there was no real French attack that scared me. I mean, the closest you came to was when Madigan kicked out in the full and Paul O'Connell was down and Sexton was gone. I was quite worried because I didn't know what to expect at that point. But once that attack failed, even there was a 10-minute period in the second half where France dominated. I was nervous, but I wasn't. I didn't have the feeling as if we were really in that much danger, which was a bit strange for a French match. Then, of course, the try came and the second try came and that's
settled your
just relieved
nerves
all
there.
the pressure, and I just
Along
sat
with the
back
7
and opened a beer.
pints of Guinness that you'd had.
But if you look, I think it's in the first half where Spedding makes a break. Like, makes a good break, gets support, and then we recycle the ball, and the ball is recycled ridiculously well. So, like, one of the forwards pushes an extra pass, like, really outside of the where the forwards are defending. And there, if they ruck properly and put it out, it's like a 6-on-1 or something, and fucking Sean O'Brien turns the ball over.
Yeah,
and that's the kind of moment where France really, really fucked up because they did everything right and then they just forgot to ruck.
Compete.
And it was quite frustrating because one more pass and that was absolutely over. That was done.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of that this World Cup. A lot of I'm not even going to go to the Wales game. There was, I'm sure it was one of the games on the last day, but I can't remember. It might have been. It wasn't Namibia. It might have been Japan against USA. I'm not sure. Where so often there have been teams just. Oh no, it was Romania against Italy. There have been so many occasions where a team will continue to pick and drive when they're about around near the post or about 10 metres either side, and there are wingers and fullbacks screaming their guts out for the ball on the wing, and then they only finally decide to get the ball out wide once the defence has turned to cover up, and it's maddening to watch that.
That was certainly true in the Tonga-Georgia game as well. Early on, you you could tell
Yeah.
that both teams wanted to just fight in the forwards, and there was a point, I think, where we've seen Barb's analysis where there's just a bucket load of people sitting in in that 15-meter line right beside touch, and I think it's Georgia have 3 or 4 people out wide against nobody for Tonga, and if they just spread it, they'd score a try that way, but instead they score a try through the forwards, and it's just...
game.
I mean, do you think that's just because the rolling maul has become such a weapon recently, and it's coached into them?
I think I can't even explain what it is. I mean, I'm sure that Georgia Tonga game, I reckon Tonga could have run away with if they'd. It's just
not tried to play up front.
All through the hand.
I think it's the 9 and 10's responsibility there to say, "Fuck, there's space up wide. You've got to give me the ball."
And it is, but also I also think that if we go along the French terms, I think the French could be better at mauling, because I actually think they could have completely dominated the Irish forwards in a way if they set that maul up properly.
You can't maul if you don't have a line out that's working. Our line out was shit.
No, that's true. If you don't have a set piece, just a basic set piece such as the line out not working, and people say that you don't win games through lineouts, but sometimes if your forward pack is stronger than the others and you can't win a lineout, you do win games through lineouts.
You lose, or you lose games.
Or you lose games from having a lack of a
lineout. Is incredibly important. It's as important as the scrum, and people don't realise that because it's how you start your game.
I saw quite a few posts saying it didn't matter.
You know how when you choose, you go for 3 or you kick for the corner. That tells you everything that you can. You can play it. You can take the scrum and you can tap and go. But when we say you don't take the 3 points, we say we kick to the corner. That's how important the line out is.
Yeah, no, it can be the difference between winning and losing a game.
Any game we won in 2014 was down to our set piece. Near enough.
Certainly, England's set piece was strong.
Definitely in the autumn against Australia. In fact, in Australia at the end of last year, where we just mauled and mauled and mauled. I think
it's usually true in really close games, but in runaway games, certainly when we beat New Zealand, you wouldn't look at any one set piece. Maybe the scrum was quite dominant.
Oh no, you would. That's all. Every try we got, I think, came off. Well, certainly 2 of the tries we got came off lineouts.
Fair
it's line out, ball through the hands, and then break.
Yeah, because you can't have a clean and nice backs move if your line out wasn't clinical, because if it's not, the opposition back row has tons of time to cover the pitch.
Well, that's something that Ireland have now lost, because I think Paul O'Connell in the air is actually obviously they've got Toner, but I think Paul O'Connell in the air is a very useful jumper, and that gives Sexton and Madigan the backline play that they can use.
I mean, Toner's fine. You know, you essentially use him because he's an articulated crane in the line out. But Paul O'Connell he's a lost asset, both in the scrum, at the breakdown, and in the line out. I mean, okay, we're going to have 1 or 2 physical specimens stand up and take his place, but it's a loss.
Well, yeah, I was just focusing on the lineup, but yeah. Obviously,
no, it is. The line-out was key in that game actually, because France couldn't make the line-out work, and it was a decision to have Shuley in the starting in the back row. He was wearing number 7. Was basically for the line-outs, because we saw that Ireland decided to start Toner instead of Henderson, and we thought, okay, they're going to try and use the line out as a weapon, because they already have Paul O'Connell and now they've got 2. So we thought, okay, we need a line out specialist in there, and it didn't work.
Yeah,
it was not enough.
It was.
I tell you what, if you see an example when set piece going wrong leads to just catastrophic results for a team. As much as I hate to bring it up, the obvious choice to make that example is England against Wales, where our set piece just fell apart the entire game.
Our set piece fell apart the whole tournament. I don't think we need to dissect. I don't think we need to dissect England's set piece. I think if anyone's going to have to turn, I think if anyone's going to turn in on themselves and say, England's fucked up, it was through the forwards, because you can't win a game when the forwards set piece is that bad. But I was just trying to focus on Ireland and Wales and France.
I have a question about Ireland.
Go on, Alex.
So watching that game, like, yeah, it was pretty close for a while. But I wonder, Harbaugh. I feel like Ireland slaughtered a couple of tries during that match as well. Like
At least 2.
Earls.
yeah, Earls in
Earls.
particular. Like,
Just Earls.
What do you think about that? Like, does that make you nervous that, like, against other teams, like, if you leave 2 tries begging, like,
Imagine you did that against Argentina. Okay, he's not there.
no,
Yeah,
disappeared.
he's
back.
having nightmares already.
He's flashing back.
He's having a flashback to just Earls.
Because I mean, I was watching the game in an Irish pub, and they were having capitulation. God, what's the word? Oh,
But
no.
I think the thing with
Got the
Ireland
word.
is, so how can I say it? So I think I've said this before in a podcast, but they actually create quite a few opportunities in which to kill a game or to score tries, because they are quite creative in their backline plays. Well, especially with Madigan on the pitch. So I think that although they may miss a couple,
that's my fire alarm. I'll be back.
Okay. It sounds like Alex forgot he was actually cooking while he was talking to us.
I'm chatting away to my flatmate while you guys are talking. I don't even know what you're talking about.
We were asking you about whether you
just
were
insulting
feared.
you.
Yeah, we were a little bit. We were wondering if you were feared about whether Earls is going to repeatedly drop the ball over the line against Argentina.
And cost you a
thankfully, he only did
semi-final.
it. Oh, yeah. Well, there's an easy solution to that, and that's Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I think Fitzgerald's
Yes.
your answer as well.
No, I don't think so. I think he's going to play Earls and Henshaw again.
I quite like Fitzgerald.
because-
Though.
Yeah,
Henshaw.
I
Slayer
prefer
of
Fitzgerald, but I still think it's going to be Earls, because have they played twice together already?
Yeah, they've got a little
one-
bit of
yeah.
partnership.
So it's probably the most used combination. But
And
then
it was
again,
Henshaw, and it was Henshaw's amazing pass.
Talk
wasn't
about
it?
Henshaw.
Go on.
Henshaw was unbelievable.
Yeah, well, he's a
I
great
thought
player.
On fire.
I thought he was the best man on the pitch. He was better than Sean O'Brien and Peter O'Mahony and all the other
Agreed.
injured.
Henshaw, Henderson should have won man of the match.
I think Henshaw had one of those games, which is, it's weird to see a centre have one of those games where he's kind of understated and just played really well. Just constantly, every time he touched the ball, he looked like he was doing something good.
I thought he put a massive impact. Really, he was just on top of his game, and he basically won. I think he made the difference.
Well, he certainly shut down what is usually quite a destructive French backline. One way or another, the French backline wasn't that strong. I mean, I've said it a lot already, but they weren't that effective. So we're going on about Ireland and France. Shall we talk about Oz and New Zealand?
Yeah, and Scotland and Wales. Well, Wales, we've
Scotland
basically.
and Wales.
We
I don't
did
think we've
about
got
Wales.
anything to say about them,
Yeah,
do we?
the problem with Wales is that we just don't know how they're going to come out of this injury crisis. So we
And we don't know
literally
any
don't
of their
know.
players.
Well, we know they're Scrum
Yeah.
Davies or Davis. I don't know how to say it. Is it Davies or Davis? He spelt Davies,
Davies.
but everyone seems to be saying Davis.
Every Welsh person I met during the Lions tour said it's John Davis.
Okay.
And they kept on getting annoyed at me, said it Davies.
Okay. Well, it's spelt Davies, but
What
maybe it's
position
Davis.
is
They're very.
The scrum half.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right, that.
No,
I was
yeah.
thinking of John.
I thought it was Gareth. Was
Yeah,
it not
Gareth. It's Gareth
Well,
Davis.
it's probably
Anyway, he's been playing out of his skin. So I think
Yeah, yeah,
statistically,
he's been great.
he's one of Wales' best players at the moment.
Yeah.
And I certainly think that
And
if he maintains this form and he keeps Wales ticking, then perhaps they can string some. I mean, they've got North, Roberts, Bigger, Cuthbert. They've got an Amos. They've got a back line they can string together.
No, Amos is out.
Shane Williams waiting in the wings.
Yeah, honestly, they need to get rid of. They desperately need to get rid of Cuthbert.
Well, they
he's-
can't. He has to play. He has to.
He-
They don't have
he-
anyone else.
If he got sin binned, I would imagine Wales would play better than were he on
They'd
the
have
pitch.
to call. I'm not even kidding. They'd have to call up my mate Sam, who I used to play with at Bristol, because he's bloody good. But he's probably in the academy for Scarlets or something stupid. They just
Well, I mean,
don't
they've got-
have any
If
players.
you have something to say, Chachi, say it out loud.
on the wing. Who's You need to.
We don't know.
Matthew Morgan.
Just speak.
Oh, Matthew
Matthew
Morgan. Matthew Morgan.
Oh, did you realise it was Gareth Anscombe playing 15? I was really wondering for like 15 minutes why
Oh, it was
Matt
Anscombe.
Damon was playing.
Not Amos. Really? They had Matt Damon playing. Well, they have to play South Africa with him on the pitch.
Oh,
Dead ringer.
Proper
I
Invictus.
couldn't for the life of me recognise who their 15 was, and I was asking all my mates why is Matt Damon playing for Wales, and it turned out to be Gareth Anscombe. I completely forgot he even existed.
Now, so everyone's banging on in the chat how George North is off form. He is completely off form, but it still takes three. It still takes 3 people to tackle him. It doesn't matter if he's off form.
I tell you what.
And he was playing 13,
Against,
which is
he had that
position.
run. Cuthbert got in the pass. If he had backed himself rather than going inside, he would have scored. I think.
I think the thing is they with
centres.
with Roberts and North in the centres, they've got crash ball on Roberts. He takes 2 or 3 people, and then crash ball on North. He takes 2 or 3 people, and then you've got 6 tired, battered people kind of milling around trying to get back into the defensive line, and you can fling it out, and then maybe Cuthbert will run round someone. But it's whether Cuthbert can actually run round anyone that's the problem.
I know. I just think Cuthbert. North definitely needs to get back on the wing. Perhaps he's not at peak form, but I don't think he's off form. Cuthbert is absolutely off form.
Yeah, Cuthbert's never been more off form.
It's frustrating to watch. But I think. You remember in 2012 when George North did his Jonah Lomu impression through Fitzgerald or whoever it was?
Oh, he absolutely smashed him and then offloaded it out the back of his hand. Yeah.
Just passed the line, but he also got that offload away.
Yeah. But that was at centre.
I'd love to.
No.
Well,
he was like placed in the centre, but he was playing
He
winger
was-
because
yeah,
he
he was
offloaded
running-
to Jonathan Davies, who was wearing 13. on his
Okay,
back.
but he was running through the centre. Yeah, sorry, he was
Yeah, he
running
was.
through the centres,
I don't know.
wasn't he? Anyway, so
yeah,
that's helpful when Jonathan
obviously-
Davies is on the pitch.
I think Wales would, if it comes down to it, Wales just need to absolutely go for broke and do something monumentally stupid, and play Justin Tipperick at 13, because I'm only half joking.
I can't see Gatlin
there's just-
changing anything though because he's still winning games.
What's that?
I think
He's
yeah,
He's winning games, isn't
Tipperick is probably too
Everyone-
skilled to play centre for Wales.
he? Yeah. The funny thing is that you're kind of right. I mean, Jonathan Davies has mad skills, but Jamie Roberts,
Yes, but he's
his
injured.
skill, yeah. His skill set is low.
But yeah, Jamie
you know.
Roberts did crash through 3 people, only to throw a miss pass to no one a couple of times.
Yeah.
And that's just a bit frustrating because you see that the intent. I mean, what he's trying to do is smart.
Well, he's
and
on.
it's
He is on
good
a
choice.
very high level. Yeah.
But he just didn't execute.
Yeah. No, that is frustrating as a partial now Welsh fan. Just I don't know who I'm supporting. It's really a gut feeling on the day when the game starts and suddenly someone scores. Then suddenly I realise who I'm supporting.
It's Northern Hemisphere. Yeah, I realised I was supporting France, but like about halfway through the Ireland game.
Yeah, it just suddenly clicks, and you don't really know why, but suddenly you just suddenly realise, and you're like, oh, okay, go that team, and suddenly the
Yeah, but
fever
imagine
overtakes you.
realising that and then realising that you're in an Irish pub.
It's like, oh shit, allez, allez, bleu.
Just like it's what I like. I caught myself doing a little fist pump and then saw a very large Irish man glare at me in the corner, and I was like, oh,
Why were you in an Irish pub in Glasgow?
because it's right by the cinema.
Less heroin.
Oh,
Or you
yeah,
see
you
the
were saying
cinema.
you went
Oh,
to
The
the
Martian.
cinema. They went to see The Martian.
Yeah,
Good show.
Talk about
actually,
is that good?
really enjoyed that movie.
yeah, it's good.
I don't know if Alex enjoyed it. He can
Yeah,
critique it.
and
No,
Gareth
I like
Anscombe was starring in it.
Think
Yeah,
so
Gareth Anscombe was great.
would you say that my analysis of Guardians of the Galaxy crossed where the humor and the music of that crossed with Gravity?
No, I think you're full of shit.
I
but
think that's a bang
sure.
on assessment.
No.
I think the
it's,
humor and the music were on point.
Uh,
Were you not a fan?
in the sense that in the sense that maybe they're from the same generation. But no, I really like. So I read the book.
Oh, of
I really
course, he
liked
had
the
these,
book.
his-
And no, I thought the movie was really good. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Okay, well, I think that if I'd read the book, perhaps it would have tempered my view on the movie. But I just quite enjoyed the movie as it was.
It's funny. Like, as someone who's read the book, I wouldn't recommend that anyone who's seen the movie read the book.
Are they different?
Yes, but I don't know. Like, so I thought in the movie.
To each other.
We should probably not talk about this because Wallopy hasn't seen it yet.
You're listening to Line Break Rugby.
Yeah, Line Break
Well,
Rugby.
this is something that we actually are thinking of breaking into. Not movie reviews in general, but a more casual kind of chat while we're just doing something
We're not
else.
going to break into. We're not going to. Okay, this.
We can talk about rugby more than films.
Well, let's talk about one thing very quickly. I put on the England-New Zealand highlights so I could work out how we scored those tries. Only one of them was from a line-out. But they've just shown Owen Farrell going off for Freddie Burns, and whatever happened to Freddie Burns?
He threw a temper tantrum and didn't have a very good... So basically, when he left Gloucester and he went to Leicester, the problem with Leicester is they don't like... I don't know why Leicester wanted him for a start. So Leicester's philosophy... Leicester's philosophy on rugby is very conservative, forward-based. You kick your kicks, you move on. Freddie Burns is a firecracker with creativity coming out of every orifice, and he just doesn't suit Leicester at all. I don't know why they wanted him, but they took him.
Every single orifice, or just some
all
of
the
them?
orifices, even the ones he's made.
So I only have a couple.
Even
of
the
orifices,
Pierce Steers ones,
coming out.
he's made those orifices.
It's like that Squatty Potty video, but with rugby creativity.
Yes.
Is that a really niche joke? Have we not?
I really don't know what
recently?
that.
Oh my god!
What's the niche? God, what is it?
You need to get on Reddit and Google Squatty Potty.
Cheese, just please say those things out loud, for Christ's sake.
What's he saying? I'm missing them. Oh.
He says
Pape will fill those orifices.
Excellent. I don't know if he's ever met Freddie Burns. Anyway, Freddie Burns is a firecracker. I would like him to step up, but he's just not quite... I think he wasn't the right move for him to go to Leicester. So let's talk about New Zealand and Oz quickly.
Woohoo!
I heard a woohoo.
Play France Cardiff. They're going to lose. Wayne Barnes is going to referee, and it'll just be
Stuart Barnes is going to referee.
Stuart Barnes referee.
Wayne Barnes.
Him running around anywhere.
That would help no one. The only thing that would help would be just
it would be Cardiff.
Stuart Barnes would be trying to bring up how Burgess would referee the match better.
You just hear him on the ref cam muttering Burgess's name.
And every penalty would say, "That's not how Johnny Sexton did it."
What?
Brian Moore would be out on the wing, just constantly with his flag out on all the scrums.
Oh, here's an idea. So you bring up Brian Moore. So we're going to talk about New Zealand Oz, but we can't bother. Matt Gitto, by the way, is having a really good tournament. I think personally, I think he's having. I thought that he came in looking a bit sheepish after the Rugby Championship, and I thought he might not be able to carry it through. But he's actually having a really, really good tournament.
He's on fire, and so is Drew Mitchell. When he gets the ball, which is quite rare actually, they don't pass it to him much, but he always makes yard. He's always, pushing. It's really impressive.
Yeah.
Which is the one that's just gotten a really stupid haircut that looks great in slow motion? No, it's the... God, it's like a... There was like slow motion video of him tackling
Ian Madigan,
and it's just
like not Rob Horn.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Anyway, he looks good in slow mo. We'll try and find out.
He doesn't look good. He looks up. No, it's not Matt. It's an Australian player.
But Madigan has the stupidest haircut in the world.
Maybe it's Rob Horn.
But he
I
waxes
seem to
it
think
tight.
he has
this guy just has ridiculous, like, loose hair, and whenever he tackles
Oh,
someone...
yeah. Of course, it's Sean McMahon.
Yes.
Oh, Barbs is probably shouting at his screen right now, listening to this. Like, you idiots!
Right. Is Barbs the one that says that Sean McMahon's a dick?
Or
is that someone else?
He's got the haircut.
It could be.
Yeah, he does.
It could be.
He's a bloody good player.
Let's put words in Barb's mouth. He definitely said that.
Of course.
Yeah, that's
Right.
definitely...
Can anyone do the accent, please?
No, not a chance.
Because I keep trying, but it's an absolute failure
It
every
just
time.
doesn't. It doesn't
You
work.
just-
You're
Isn't it
doing a
just
very
you
good
end in
English
a-
one
always
right now.
end in a question. That's what you always do, right? Yeah, imagine someone like a French guy speaking
day,
English
mate.
with an
No,
Australian
doesn't
accent. Must be.
Yeah.
Put a couple of shrimp
so
on the barbie, mate.
there we
Come on,
go.
Dick.
Nailed it.
CC's
Oh, it's
in.
like,
CC's
it's like he's in the room.
Who came in?
That was CC.
There's a
I'm not sure
voice.
who that was. Was that CC?
Of course it was. So that was my thought. You brought up Brian Moore, and it's not his suggestion, but how do you think, rather than have this TMO crap, how about, like American football, we have an additional, because they've got loads of refs, or loads of umpires, or whatever you call it, why don't we have literally a specialised scrum referee? Because I do tend to think that although the linesmen are there, if there's a scrum in the middle of the pitch especially, if you've got a specialist scrum referee, one on either side, who can talk and look at what is happening, surely the scrum will be reffed better. I mean...
Well, I think the refs are meant to be scrum specialists.
No, they are, but they can only stand on one side, so you can only look at the contest between one loose head and one tie head, and then the other side they can do what they want.
Having a specialist, you mean that the assistant ref should take a part into refereeing the scrum?
Well, certainly, but I think that...
Because those guys, I mean, at the World Cup,
someone still needs to,
they're all top refs on the sidelines. They're not, they're not a kid they took at the local
No, I
club.
agree, but then someone also needs to police the offside line or something. I'm talking about actually bringing somebody on the pitch who is, the scrum ref.
So you'd like a second ref on the pitch?
And especially when the scrums are just complete mess, because in certain cases the referee doesn't actually know what's going on, and it is a bit of a lottery how he blows. And
No one knows what's going on.
Yeah, well,
that's
you just
the
need
point
to
of having scrums.
But I'm obviously an aggrieved Englishman.
If we wanted a logical game, we would be playing anything else.
Yeah, I know, I agree, and I'm not trying to police the breakdown in any more, but I think they've done so much to try and get the scrum right, and if the scrum has been changed so much with the engagement laws and the hooking laws and everything that goes into it, and it's still not right, it just needs to get to a point where, how about it's not the laws that are the problem, it's just the way it's reffed. Because at some point you just need to acknowledge that a referee cannot see everything that is going on when two 8-man scrums collide. It's just not possible.
What needs to be more of is actual... I know it's perhaps a dangerous path to go down, but there needs to be more scrutiny on referees after they have bad games. And I know that the scrum is just an absolute lottery when it comes to penalties and what should be awarded to who. But I think if a ref has a shocker... George Clancy, for instance, for Namibia versus Georgia, I think should get an absolute slap around the face and be told he can't referee an international for a while. Because I thought he handled that game just abysmally. But there's never any... the biggest issue is that most of the public call out against refs is from fans, and it usually comes off as, just being angry at decisions going against their teams. But there needs to be some kind that... I don't
think discipline... I understand
that they're not being held.
I understand that they're not held accountable, but what I'm talking about is not a discipline system where the refs are being told, oh, you're not good enough, so we had to bring someone in. It's more of the idea that this is a support system so that we can get it right. Because I think everyone just needs to acknowledge that referees are human. Like, there's a huge amount of margin for error in every single call that they make. And that's why everybody's been going to the TMO so often, because they're so worried because everything's being highlighted. And I don't think anybody wants to be a referee anymore. What's the interest to being going shouted at by 80,000 people in a stadium? I don't think there is. I'm not interested in it. And at one point in time, I could have been a ref.
Unless you're Wayne Barnes and you just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you're him.
Yeah, Wayne doesn't care. Wayne's on Twitter just chatting shit. It's great.
Is it actually? We definitely need to go.
Someone posted a thing saying not looking forward to it. Yeah. There's a thing on Reddit where I don't know if it's him or a fake account. I hope it's him.
Fake account,
but
isn't it?
It was. He basically said like,
my
hope.
new favorite ref.
He said, hope I don't get drawn for it. They still haven't shut up about the last time I ref
Um,
No, it's gonna be
Yeah,
fake.
I don't think he
of
has
course,
sense
it's a
of humor,
fake
though.
account.
I can't find him, but anyway, that's good
Definitely.
banter. Yeah, it's called Fake Wayne Barnes, but it's still funny.
Uh,
I just found
uh,
it.
No, actually, talking about refs, have you seen Nigel Owen's comment today?
No, what happened?
Who said that in the background? Is that your
Really?
flatmate?
Yeah, bringing me coke and shouting some
Obscenities.
obscene comments.
the sanity.
Why
Right.
wasn't he speaking in French?
It's okay. He's gone back to his boyfriend, so he'll leave us alone.
Okay.
No comment.
I forgot what I was talking about. Yes, no, sorry, we'll have to cut this. Nigel Owen posted on Facebook that because everyone that's involved in the quarters, not England, is invited to see the Queen today.
Oh,
Did you
yeah, I can
guys-
see him. Yeah. Well, to
And
be
yeah,
fair,
Ireland
I'm
was
sure.
Nigel
I'm
Owen.
sure that,
And he said, I've met a lot of queens in my life, and some people call me one, but I'm going to see the real one today.
but I'm on the way to Buckingham Palace now to meet the real one. Yeah, I just seen that on Twitter.
Oh, there we go. Marcelo Bosch has been cited. Good.
Bosch has been
Oh,
cited.
good.
Oh, for tipping.
It's old.
Yeah, okay. If you can see it, watch the video of what Bosch did, because I think that he deserved a red card.
Do you see how
And I got
quick
lots of
Bobby
huge-
Joe was at changing the conversation there?
Marcelo
Very,
Bosch
very
is the same.
smart.
Sorry, no, I've turned onto the Reddit page to see if there was anything about Nigel Owens, and I just saw that and thought, well, we can carry on.
Could-
I just
Could I raise something that like you were
on.
saying, the whole people need to realize that referees are human and stuff like that.
Yes.
are they though?
And I absolutely agree. But I think it's funny that there are people sort of complaining about the fact that the referees missed something, and then they also, I remember there was a point where the so what?
Oh, Alex has been stopped mid-conversation by Alex.
Alex has also stopped. Yeah, I'm gonna get it. Pass me the controller.
How dare you be interrupted
Sorry,
by
hang on.
people in real life?
I can't believe this. It's not like Fred goes around having a social life.
Guys, it's like the
Right,
third
yeah, so-
interruption.
No, it's good because I was completely losing my train of thought anyway, so I can start again. So the whole thing with there was a commentator who was having a complaint about the fact that a referee was called back to something by the TMO. He was like, the referee is fallible. We should allow for these mistakes to happen. It's part of the game. And then people then massacre the referees for not seeing something. Like, they're trying to sort of have their cake and eat it by sort of complaining about the TMO and how it's allowing people, it's catching things that, if the referee didn't see it, then we should just let it play on. And then they complain when the referee doesn't see something. Like,
Well,
they need
that's
to
that's the argument they had in football for ages, and I think as soon as it started to get to the point where well, certainly in England, when Lampard missed that kick or whatever in football, suddenly the English fans went, "Oh wait, let's actually get in the technology to help us." And I think there are quite a few hypocritical fans that just go with whatever they want at some point. I'm very confused by the barrage of things that are going on in the chat.
Barrage of things going on.
He sounds posher than
CC
you. That's
is-
incredible.
Really? Do I?
see as a
This sounds posh.
I didn't get an animated GIF of that, sadly.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's an inside joke there.
Try it.
Hey.
Which I got.
Anyway, fair enough. That's a good. That would have been a good one.
we still haven't really talked about New Zealand.
What
Well,
is
I
there to
think
talk
it's
about?
hard
We
because
don't
they-
have anything to say about
I
them.
guess that's
I
the
mean,
thing. What is there to say about
they've
them? right?
brushed
Like, they've
basically
looked
Sevilla's out of
adequate.
form but still scoring tries. Milner Scudder's on absolute blazing form against decent opposition
he's
but not
terrible.
amazing opposition.
He is a really scary winger.
He is a very scary winger. He's in my
I
fantasy
think
team.
New Zealand had they had a very strong game against Argentina. They didn't look amazing, but they did the work well, and
They weren't
it paid
close
off.
to being beaten. They just weren't.
Yeah, but when they had to do the work, they did everything right. Aaron
Yeah.
Smith was at his normal level, which is a couple levels above everyone else.
Yep.
And I think that's the New Zealand we'll see next week, because in the other games we can't really take anything from them.
No, you're right. And I think that Hansen's brushed away any poor gameplay on them trying to test themselves by playing as if they're playing under pressure, which is certainly. I mean, they could certainly do that, but I still think that if they did have a bad game, it's still indicative of them having a bad game. I think you can only go so far to imitate pressure. You're still going to try and play your best and win a game comfortably when you're on the pitch.
And one of my on Saturday was I was playing. One of my mates said, if you look at the last New Zealand game, who was it against? Can anyone remind me? On Friday, who did they
Was
play?
it against Georgia?
Tonga.
Tonga.
Yeah, Tonga. At one point, Kieran Reid is charging for the line, and he gets tackled, and he's going nowhere. And what he does is he long places the ball the full length of his body, and so Aaron Smith takes a step, and then passes to Tony Woodcock, and that's the first try, or at least that's a try. And that shows like how selfless he is, because you'd think a number 8 that close to the line,
Parise would have stretched out and gone for the
exactly
points,
would be obsessed with the idea of stretching out and trying to score, and he went, well, I'm not entirely sure I might score, so I'll just place it back, and that made the try.
Yeah, and
that shows, I think, that New Zealand, through those players like Kieran Reid, McCall, the McCall understudy, and Jerome Kano, Victor Vita, basically all their back rows, they're going to do the job, and they're going to be fucking scary.
I think that team vibe is what's actually keeping Wales together, because they're on such a backward step, and they must be within the squad. Whoever you are, if you get called up to that Wales squad, they must be feeling right now it's us against the world, because they are very injured and very alone, really. They've got no backups left, and I think that team spirit of we need to win for the team and not to cement my place. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's fighting for places. If you're there, you're there, and I think the team spirit of winning for the team is certainly there. Whereas I think with the amount of changes that perhaps England and certain other teams have been doing in their backlines and their forwards, there's quite a competition for places, so you can get a little bit greedy. And I think that kind of shows. New Zealand have had a consistent first 15 for quite a while now, and they just know that they're going to win for the team. They're not fighting for places constantly. I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I think it's no news that New Zealand have a very good team spirit, and that they approach the game in the right way. For Wales, it's kind of the opposite. I mean, right now they probably don't want to play, because they know they'll lose a knee or an ankle or something. So they're probably fighting for non-selection.
They're all desperately going like, "No, I'm playing for the region. I'm busy," and they get called up. I think
Exactly,
Henson
kind of
probably
like
wants to
Michael
call,
Hooper
though.
playing for North Harbour.
Oh, that was a bullshit, wasn't it? Fucking hell.
And somebody pointed it out that he was going to play for North Harbour this week. Poor guy, he was going to miss another very important game for them.
Oh no! Just like he had to take his suspension over that game as well, didn't he? Goodness. Anyway,
I wish they would define what matches he needs to miss.
Yeah,
An international
What
ban
level-
of 5 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't. Obviously, he shouldn't get a 5-game ban, but I know what you mean. Like, they should specify what.
It's
the
just an
actual...
example. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm
I
just.
actually think
I'm
he should
worried
get 20 game.
Yeah, I'm just worried that you say that and suddenly the whole of Australia, including Barbs, want to chop your balls off and just say no. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, we'll duke it out in the semi-finals. Don't worry.
Very
We'll
confident.
see who gets castrated then.
You're so
Scotland
funny.
are going to beat Australia. It's this weekend. It's going to absolutely piss down with rain, and Australia won't know what to do. And
I've actually
Scotland will
bailed.
be in rounds.
I've bailed on everybody Scottish from my fancy team.
Ball handling skills of lesbians.
That's the opener. That's the opening line right there.
All right, the podcast is over. We quit. We're all done.
Sold to that man.
That's
Horrible.
actually brilliant.
God.
Because have you seen that Friends episode with the lesbian wedding?
Oh yeah, of course he wasn't.
Big silence up there
No,
when
I've
Chandler
seen-
goes like, "Yeah, the world is my lesbian wedding." I think
I need to rewatch. It's been ages. I can't remember.
Friends.
yeah. Basically,
Friends just-
Joey says like, "I hate this place because it feels like I'm Superman and I've got the cape but I can't fly." And Chandler says, "That's how I feel every day." And and now Humble comes up with this.
Jesus Christ.
It could if it's not considered too homophobic, it definitely should be our subtitle. Like ball handling skills for lesbian.
Oh my god. I think that aptly describes Cuthbert as well, to be honest with you.
Oh no! It's every time someone calls him a donkey, it's just he doesn't seem to have any awareness. In 2013, he was on some really good form.
Yeah, and
He
it's
ran-
not like he can't play rugby. We've seen him play
Nice.
really good rugby. Like you just said, 2013, he played some really good rugby.
But
Who was
it's
it
not
that
just
was saying that
oil, but
that Cuthbert was having like a? He just looks like he stopped wanting to play rugby. Like he looks like he does it because it's his job. You know, like he's not doing it with any joy.
There's no joy anymore. I mean, it's perfectly possible that's
just
true.
happy to eat sheep.
I
It's
don't
stuck
I
with-
don't know who said it, but it does sound perfectly believable. Because he does seem to have lost a little bit of love for it, maybe.
He's picked the worst time in Welsh history to try to get himself dropped by playing badly, when so many of their other players get injured.
Yeah. He certainly has.
Do you reckon if Wales beat South Africa in the quarter-final and make it through to the semis, and they lose another 8 or 9 players, do you reckon Gavin Pearson will...
Oh, and then Ed died.
Well, I didn't die.
I didn't hear what happened. It sounded like you dropped something and then it went all
Do you reckon
weird.
Charchees is going to get called up for Wales?
Yes.
Well, it's a matter of time.
Whoa, you are really quiet.
On that image that he just sent, you can see that Cuthbert is number, is the cap Welshman 1089. What do you think the number will be at the end of the World Cup? It could be
nearer one,
13 or
isn't it?
1400.
Yeah, it's
I
near
hear
a grand and a half.
There's a
Harbour, you're
rumour
very
about,
quiet. Crank yourself up.
How do I crank myself?
there we
That sounds
go.
quite dirty.
That's
Is that
the
better?
noise.
Fantastic.
Bring the noise.
I heard of a rumour that the IRFU and WRU are planning a merger before the end of this Rugby World Cup so we can take on the Southern Hemisphere and win every match.
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea. We might have 3 players left over at the end too.
I think you just described the Lions.
Roar.
Yeah, with no English players. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Well, I tell you what,
Or Scots.
Henry Slade and Hogg are going on that tour. That is happening.
You guys can merge with
Henry
Scotland.
I don't know. Like I was saying in the
Scots are-
office today. It's like Scotland. Yeah, for a while it's felt like Scotland has been like an average team with Stuart Hogg playing outstanding. Whereas recently, I feel like Stuart Hogg has been average, and the Scottish team is playing a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Hogg's. I actually don't. I think it's a
Finn
little bit
Russell.
unfair to say that Hogg's played average. I think he's still playing very well, but I just think that Scotland are playing up to his level. Like they're on his level now, so he may look average in a good team, if that makes sense.
Hogg looks like, well, I don't know. For me, like, it's what sticks in my mind is it looks like Hogg is trying to single-handedly convince the referee that a forward pass is a totally legitimate thing to do in rugby.
As it is, because we saw from
Yeah,
that England
like-
try and Knowles kick ahead that forward passes are completely fine.
Shh, we don't mention it. Shh.
I think even Johnny at half time was like, well, maybe that one
That was
shouldn't
forward,
have stood. Yeah.
Mhm.
And everyone goes, oh, great respect, Johnny. You're the one to say it, not me. You say it. That's great. And he gets all the plaudits for saying it. Anyway, no, it was good. But yeah, no, I think Hogs had a good
I
tournament. He
think
hasn't
it's been all right. I
fantastic,
just
but-
feel like he seems to have, like he's playing fine. He just looks like he lacks a bit of his cutting edge at the moment.
Yeah, perhaps he's not on that hot streak that he was when he was on the Lions tour, but he's still got that certain little something that I think can break a game up.
Yeah.
So what I
I
did,
think he'll be one of the. He'll be critical. They're going to need him against Australia. If he's not on it at his best game, don't really stand a chance.
no,
he
you're
can't
right.
be passes to other people's knees. He needs to be. If he makes a break, he needs to nail the pass or get the kick away rather than, forcing a knock on for his winner.
Yeah, I think
Against
that's the sad thing about
Because he
a couple of his breaks. His passes have gone a bit astray once he's gone through, so it's a little bit worrying. But I think he'll be fine. Anyway, we can do the outro now, so it goes do 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 do, really relaxed, like tune.
Yeah, I feel already more relaxed.
Yeah. The problem with me saying that I'm going to play the outro is I still don't have a way of editing this or accessing any of my files that I have, such as the intro and outro.
So what you're saying is we all have to hum the outro together.
And this will prove whether or not you have actually listened to the podcast.
What if I've listened to it, but it's been so long since we've done one that I can't remember it?
We have to come in on CC when CC starts.
What if I've never listened to a single one of our podcasts?
Well, you've listened to the intro of the first one because you responded.
That was 6 months ago.
It was a
voice.
while ago.
Do you not think, I'll listen to the Line Break podcast because then it'll be like an hour and a half of listening to Brian O'Driscoll? Do you not get that?
Oh no, I hear my own voice. No.
I think you give us the edge of
If we,
foreignness that is very helpful.
I
If
can't
we
stand
started
the sound
using the
of
match of the day theme tune, how long do
How
you
does
think
that-
it would take them
what-
to realise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
It
where
used
I
to be the
admit I
beautiful-
don't know what that is.
You know,
Oh my
using-
god! Of course he doesn't, because he's a foreigner.
Who's a foreigner?
The Irishman doesn't know what the match of the day theme tune is.
No, I'm pretty sure
you
we
say-
have it here too. I'm just-
Foreigner!
I'm
You foreign person.
You foreign bastard.
Hang on. What about
Even
this?
Fred
Nice-
knows,
nice
and he's a
accent there,
Frenchman.
No.
So you have match of the day. You just never listened to it or watched it in your life.
I just don't know what it is. Yeah.
What?
I
heard
What,
of
know
the
what it
name.
is.
what channel has match of the day in Ireland?
Is
I
it
just said it.
BBC?
Ever
No,
watched it?
people watch real sports in Ireland.
Yeah, like
Gaelic
rugby.
football.
No, you're Gaelic.
Good one. You got
no, Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Is that right?
No, Uruguay.
Just come.
So hurling as well. That's what you do. Gaelic football and hurling is apparently the two real sports that Ireland play. Did someone mention my flair?
Let's mention his flair.
CC.
What's
has
wrong with your flair now?
Well, he had no. He used to have the
Just
Uruguay
speak.
flair, and now he's got the Welsh flair.
It used to be what was your flair text? Cum slut.
Did Andy say cum slut?
Yeah,
but it was spelled
he
like
spelled
Wales.
it like CYM, like Wales, like Cymru.
Yeah,
Oh,
like it's
So
Cymru.
CYM
Wales is
and it's cum.
Yeah,
I thought it was the
cum slut.
funniest one I've ever
that
seen.
was a good one.
Typical CC. Unbelievable.
Very CC.
Can't show that to any children. Can't let any children listen to this podcast now.
This is an 18 plus now, just because of C. Well, no, it's also an 18 plus because Fred's flatmate decided to shout obscenities about Nigel Owen.
Oh, and because of my lesbian comment.
Well, that was a good one. Do 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 do. Oh, apparently there's
So,
stuff happening
are
in
you still doing the outro then?
I'm still doing the outro.
Why isn't CC doing the outro?
Yeah, he should be.
Is this music not coming through?
It is. It's very loud and distracting.
It is.
Is it not? Can't we use this as the outro?
What is
It's
it?
good.
Sounds like the
I can't
Champions
hear it.
League
What is
theme
it?
tune.
This is Industrial Revolution Part 2, which was played all the way through World Cup 2007.
Can we have a new
Even during the
outro?
matches, even during the commentary, the entire way through.
CC, you
During
can't
every-
change the outro unless
during-
it's something equally as relaxing and amazing that there's the one I've chose. Oh.
You know, I've had
I'm
the
really
Charlie,
confused.
Charlie,
faith,
What's
World
up,
in
Fred?
Union.
Hit me.
what kind of laptop do you have?
Hit
Then?
him.
I now have Toshiba i5 with.
No, I don't care about the brand. Is it? You said that you can't do any editing.
No, I can. I
Why
just
can't
need to
you?
download the software.
All right, you're fine.
It's
then.
just because it's brand new. I just need to download everything. It's just finding the time to do everything. It's just a time thing. There's no actual
Oh, okay,
problem.
so do it now. Do it now.
Yeah, that's fine.
I
Right, I'll
expect,
stop
I
the
expect this
recording.
podcast to be on my desk by 9 a.m.
It's going to be completely unedited if you want it on your desk by 9 a.m.
and it's going to be edited with intro, with outro, and yeah, at the very least.
Right, can everyone say goodbye then? Because we've kind of got to the point where I need to stop the recording, but I need everyone to say goodbye because otherwise I can't edit your goodbyes in a way that it makes sense.
All right, how about we do it in order of?
I'm not saying goodbye until CC says goodbye.
Yeah, same.
Until he says hello.
We need a group hello.
Hi
we
there,
need
my
like
name's
a team-
CC.
when?
Welcome to the
Hello.
podcast.
Oh, CC said something.
Say
can
it
edit that
again.
in.
I heard a murmur.
Silence. Everyone else, shut up.
If you hear a toilet flush, by the way, that's me.
I don't start from the Catholic.
He's in the toilet. I've just got an image. I've got an image of a small Chinese Irishman.
Oh god, we can't use any of this podcast.
Squeezing
No,
one out,
sorry, that's-
talking to us on this.
Just for the last hour.
Oh, are we all meeting up, by the way? So we can't do it on the 4th, so we need to do it sometime else, I'm afraid.
Calcutta Cup. How many times must I say this?
Is it in January?
Istanbul.
End of January or beginning of February?
Oh, okay. And Harbour will
That's
be
doable.
more
Is
than
it in
happy
Scotland
to go
then?
and watch it.
Or is it at Twickenham?
Scotland.
Oh, it is in Scotland because I was at Twickenham this year.
So Harbour, you're coming to Murrayfield to watch England versus Scotland.
I'll pick you up on the
Excellent.
way. I'll
Pick
drive
up
up.
some Scottish bitches.
And then what we do is we have a road trip, which we're only having if Fred comes up to Scotland, is all the way down to Paris so we can watch Le Crunch.
Oh.
Why would you do a road trip to Paris when you can take the Eurostar?
Oh, we can do
Or
it.
a
on the
plane.
train.
I've
I've done that. I've taken the coach from Victoria at 10 in the morning, and you arrive in Paris at 9 when you're supposed to arrive at 6, and it's absolutely horrible. So don't ever do that.
Ugh,
Um,
I'm out.
I had a comment about that match, but now I forgot.
Le Crunch. I
Yeah,
didn't
actually,
realise-
actually, you know that people in France think that the English call it that, and you guys think that we call it that. When it turns out that no one calls it that.
Yeah, no one calls it that.
Everyone-
I don't.
I'm going to now argue
Every-
that you both call it that.
I've never called it that before.
Yeah,
like 5
now.
seconds ago.
But it's
I'm
pretty
going to
new.
argue that John Inverdale calls it that.
El Crunchy Joe.
How unbearable
when-
has John Inverdale been this entire World Cup?
Oh, he's been terrible. He's just been, yeah.
It was one
It
of those
was- I
moments
thought-
where I was hoping he would cry live on TV.
I was really excited that we were going to get 48 matches in a row for the World Cup, and John Inverdale is as a pundit on at least a third of them.
Yeah, it's. I think he's just. He just needs to stop bringing up England. Like that's the big thing for me. Like you just need
No,
to get
it's
past the
called
fact
Charlie,
that they're not in
isn't
it
it?
anymore.
Right, I need to go. It's time to leave. But I completely agree that John
Right.
Inverdale needs to stop talking.
So
As a
so are we
human.
saying goodbyes?
We are.
Let's go in high order.
No, let's go with the order that I've got. So we're going with Harble, CC, Fred, Ed, and then Alex. So are we ready? Harble, say goodbye.
Are we using actual names, Reddit names?
It's your decision. I'll say that forever.
Fantastic. then shall I go?
Yeah,
How do you not
yes,
hear-
Deck. Just say goodbye, Deck.
And okay, I'll start. Everybody quiet. And from me, Declan, goodbye.
There you go. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, that was a good goodbye. One of the strongest goodbyes we've had in a long time. Fred, say goodbye.
Alright, from the quarterfinals, this is Fred. Bye bye.
Ed, say goodbye.
Oh, I'm Ed. Goodbye.
Yeah, that
England's-
was Ed. And Alex is going to say goodbye because CC did eventually say something.
Me, Alex. Goodbye.
Oh, we have.
Wait,
Nailed
what?
it.
What was
that actually was very confusing. I wasn't
Alex has grown
expecting. I
boobs.
wasn't
I'll say it. She really has. It's great.
High
What-
fives.
yeah, okay, yeah.
My other Alex.
Yeah. And
is
for
other
me,
Alex.
Alex, goodbye.
And I can add
guess.
myself in post onto Audacity, so I sound extra cool. Right, I'm
Perfect.
gonna hang up and just end the call for all of you. In fact, I can hang up one by one. So there, we just lost CC.
That's not
kill-
much of a
just
loss.
kill it.
Nobody's noticed anything.
You're power hungry, aren't you?
I'm power
Suddenly
hungry.
gone so quiet here.
Yeah, we just lost Fred.
I'll ban you.
Oh, here
Oh,
we
do
go.
you know what? You can't get rid of me. I quit. Oh wait, where's my mouse?
Oh.
Now it's just me and Ed.
So seriously though, listen. What would be wrong with Slade at 10 and then JJ and Tuolangi in the centre? That's
I'm
all
really,
saying.
I'm really into
I
that.
think
I'm
that would
actually
work.
really into
Do
that
not
idea. Oh, shit. Well, that's the end of that then.